The last time we were here at the Fieldhouse on Fred TV, we saw Durfee and New Bedford square off in boys basketball, a tight 3-point win for the Whalers. Tonight, Brockton comes to town for more Southeast Conference action. Hello again, everybody. I'm Evan Massoud. Welcome inside the Fieldhouse at Durfee, joined by former Durfee girls coach and boys volleyball coach Brendan Kelly. Great to have him tonight for the broadcast. Brendan, it's going to be a tough game for Durfee. They really had a rough time in Brockton. Brockton won by nearly 40 points back in the first game on the road. So tonight, Brockton coming in with just one loss. It's going to be a tall task.
Yeah, as always, Brockton is one of the best teams in the state, and this year's no different than in years past. But it's always a special night when Brockton comes to the Fieldhouse. Anything can happen with that. So,
Coach Bowen leading the way for the Boxers again. They are 11-1. Their only loss coming to BC High earlier this season. Now, for Durfee, though, just the 2 wins. But when we saw them against New Bedford, they didn't play like a 2-8 team at the time. I mean, they hung with New Bedford and they played tough for 4 quarters. Yeah,
Durfee's got a ton of promise. They play a lot of young guys, young guys that have played a lot of basketball, and the future is extremely bright for the Hilltoppers, and no better way to test it against the Boxers.
We've been saying it all year. Brendan's right. Young team, and as more game time comes to them, more experience. And it's kind of like football. It's that same core group of guys, a lot of football players on this Durfee basketball team. Going to have all the action for you next on Fred TV. Brendan and I are going to go put the headsets on. We'll be right back after this break. Stick around.
Honor, courage, sacrifice, pride, our city. Fall River has traditionally been in the forefront of honoring our nation's soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen. Vietnam veterans took the initiative to secure rights to an 80% size replica of the Healing Wall for Veterans Bicentennial Park. The names of over 58,000 fallen heroes will be engraved on the 360-foot long replica wall. 100% of the money raised benefits the building of our Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Fall River. Help build our wall, which is scheduled to open in 2020. The meaning, the spirit, and the value of the wall is everyone's. Be part of this exceptional, once-in-a-lifetime project. To make a donation, please visit VietnamMemorialWall.org or connect with us at Facebook.com.
Welcome back inside the Fieldhouse, everybody. Evan Massoud and Brendan Kelly with you on Fred TV. Brockton and Durfee ready to meet for the second time this season. Brockton coming in 11-1, as we mentioned in the open. Durfee 2-10. That first meeting, Brendan, back in Brockton was a real tough one for Durfee. 86-44, the loss. That's a lopsided victory for Brockton.
It's always a tough gym to play in. It always has been. Even when the record stands in your favor, it's always been a tough place to play in. But hopefully, tonight, being home, being in front of your home crowd, friends, things will be a little bit different.
Opening tip goes to Brockton. And Coach Bowen's Boxers have possession to start it off.
Durfee's in their zone that they've been playing primarily this year. Going to force the Boxers to beat them from the outside.
Holly was the player of the game for Durfee in the New Bedford game, and he'll start off with points here, one of the 5 Durfee starters. Brendan, you want to take those 5 for Durfee?
Yep, 4 sophomores and a senior. Number 0, Ariel Pereira. Number 5, Jaden Lewis. Number 1, Javon Holly. Number 20, Jay Hall. And my man, number 25, Nelson DiCavallo.
Yeah, Nelson played volleyball for you. Going to be playing again in the spring, right?
Yeah, plays volleyball for us.
Right.
Yeah, he's a very good volleyball player. He's had a nice career. Looking forward to an awesome senior year with him.
I got to tell you, I actually, when I saw him on the court, I actually thought he was a senior last year. Everything's starting to blend here. So I'm glad to see him back.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see him back.
Yeah, so are we. Nelson's he's a great jumper. Does a nice job, and he plays hard in basketball. He's done a nice job this year with some real extended minutes, kind of being a 3-and-D guy for the Hilltoppers.
3 ball there from Todd Robinson.
Brockton is definitely superior in height, as they always are. To quote a recent podcast that I've listened to, one thing you are certain in this world is Brockton walking in with a couple 6'7", 6'8" guys.
Yeah. Jay Hall for three. It's off the rim and into the hands of Diamond Blakely. So the 5 starters for Brockton as they take it the other way, and Blakely goes to the basket, gets it to go. Blakely, one of the 5 starters. Number 11, Todd Robinson. Number 13, number 20, Trenton Biddle. Number 33, Navon Reed. And number 34, Raymond Bento. And, of course, Robert Bowen, the head coach for the Boxers, longtime head coach in his usual gray khakis, black sweater. See him in the same thing every time. Every year we're here, he's got the same game times. It's kind of like you with the vest.
As a fellow sweater guy
right.
myself, I respect the game.
Of course. Maybe it's a superstition thing. We don't know.
Yeah, with me, you never know.
Jason Hall puts that one in. Of course, Joe DeCruz, first-year head coach of the varsity team, but no stranger to the Durfee program. That's for 3 in the corner. Got it. That was Biddle.
Durfee, definitely primarily a zone team, but Brockton, 2 quick threes. The other one just in and out. They can shoot.
Second foul for Brockton. It's the second foul on Nichols, number 35. Bento started the game, and then just like that, he came out. But Vikem Nichols, back-to-back fouls, and he'll take a seat.
The luxury of Brockton, when there's foul trouble on 1-6-6, 6'7" big, you just go to the next one off the bench.
Yeah, deep bench as usual for Brockton. Both shots made by Ariel Pereira. First trip to the line for either side, 10-6 the score here after 2.5 minutes, and Brockton will take it back the other way.
Elijah Coleman in the game for the Hilltoppers. Junior's had a very, very nice season. I really like his game. He's a very, very strong rebounder, finishes well around the basket, gives a lot of energy to the Hilltoppers.
And he gives some height, just like with Pereira. You get that height underneath. And so he was out for a couple games. Good to see him back in the action. Number 33 taking the 3 ball. That was Reed. No good. And Coleman with the rebound. You just said it.
Yeah, he attacks the glass well, has a good nose for the ball.
You know, it's tough. You know, we mentioned it in the opening that, you know, this is a young team, and that's one of the challenges. And, you know, I said the same thing on Thanksgiving Day for football. What a feed to Reed. I mentioned, though, on Thanksgiving Day game that
turnover.
Yeah, that's a bad errant pass there, not paying attention. You got to get back on those. And a timeout called by Durfee. But to finish the thought is that, you know, even with football, you know, they went winless in 2018. Last year, picked up a few wins. You started seeing what the talent that Taylor Brown had could do. You got glimpses of it. I mean, a 4-7, I think. They easily could have been a 6-4 team going into Thanksgiving. There were 2 games that literally they lost in the final minute. So I look at those and I say, those are those kind of, you know, what-if games, right? Well, the New Bedford game was kind of one of those games here, and that was really aside. We saw Conley before Christmas here, and knowing how good Conley's doing, that was a big win for Durfee because they won that one handily. Actually, we'll look back in the book, 70-57. It was only a 6-point game in the third, but they closed it out well, and that was what Durfee needed to do. You know, with the New Bedford game, a 3-point loss, I mean, that's really, in a tough season, it's not anything to really, you know, be upset about. It's not where you wanted to be, obviously. You wanted to win that game. But I'll tell you, first look at Durfee in about 3 weeks, they didn't look like a 2-8 team by any stretch. They really played a great game.
You know, the process, you know, for a winning basketball team is hard in football and in all sports. It takes a lot, and you know, sometimes the losing, you know, can get to you, but there's a ton of potential here. You just watch the JV game.
JV won.
Extremely well run and executed very well. I get to catch almost 3/4 of that game. The freshman team is doing a nice job, and not many teams in the state are starting 4 sophomores on a consistent basis like the Hilltoppers. Right. So these kids stick together and, you know, really commit and trust that good things are on the horizon. I think everything will be back to where everybody hopes it will be soon.
Yeah, I mean, this is an off season, you know, for sure for Durfee. I mean, It's not to say that, they're coming off of back-to-back-to-back, 19-win seasons, but they've made the tournament virtually every year that I've been around. Going back to 2012, I think there was only one year that Jameson's crew, when he was coaching, didn't make it. So, this is not where Durfee wants to be, but they're going to get better. The foul and one for the basket. Count it. Lewis will get the basket, and he'll take a shot as Brockton will pick up their third foul. But JV, you're right. Future's bright. Young varsity team. JV, every time we've been here, has won. Seriously, they've really they've had some great games. And tonight winning 66-59 as Bento picks up the foul. So that was a big win because they were down by, I think, 4 when I got here in the second quarter. So they came back. 4 is close. It's a 2-possession game, but still come back and, finish it off. That's what you're looking for.
And a kid like Jaden Lewis is going to be a big part of, the good things that come. Tremendous player on the football field, and I love his game, getting out again on the fast break.
Yep.
And finishing strong again.
He did, and credit Coleman with the block because Coleman started it. Look at the New Bedford game. Holly had 28 points in that one. He was the player of the game. But Lewis was not too far behind. He had double digits. He was at 13 points. Pereira had 10 underneath, and all 10 came in the first half for him. So they really shut him down, New Bedford did, in that second half. And I think that was a big reason why New Bedford was able to kind of crawl back into the game. First foul for Durfee. It's going to send Bento to the line, and the foul was on Lewis, who went down pretty hard on the back end of that. So 2 shots for Bento, first free throws of the night for the Boxers. 5-point game. First shot, no good.
Got a box out.
Excuse me, that was an and one. I was looking at the.
Raymond Bento's coming in the game, and
Bento got the basket.
Impact as well.
Yeah, got the basket, and then that was an and one that he missed. Like I said, I was looking down at the book from last week. So let's say we're right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 16 points. Okay, we're back. We're square here. I can talk and chew gum at the same time. In fact, I can talk and score at the same time. But once in a while,
way better than I would be. I've never been able to. When I was on the boys' bench with Jeff Carrot and Steve Mata, they always had me doing something, on a chart. And it was never completed after the second quarter.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I follow fouls and I follow individual scoring. I don't keep running score. There's just too much to do after a basket for me. I just mark who got the basket so I can refer back to it. So it's not scientifically perfectly accurate, but it does the job for what I needed to do.
Another and one.
Yeah, another and one. Isaac Lane found the lane, and now he'll go to the basket.
One of the challenges of playing, this scramble zone is boxing out after the shot. A lot of times there's tendencies to just chase and try to out-jump, and they're definitely not going to out-jump the Boxers who are crashing 4 guys.
Well, especially when you look at Lewis and Holly, for example, who are always underneath, and Lewis, unfortunately, picking up that foul as well, so 2 in a row for him. But, they're very fast, they're playmakers, but they don't have the height. That's, so you're going up against somebody, like you said, 6'7", that's like 10 inches taller than you.
You have to put a body on him.
Yeah, that's going to make it difficult.
You're not going to be able to out-jump.
Exactly. So that's where you can see some foul trouble for some of those guys. The good news of it is, Holly makes me think a lot of, especially, so kind of scrappy, getting to the ball quick. Kind of makes me think of Jalen Jackson when she played. Seriously, she was around that ball constantly. It was like a magnet to the ball when she played for you. Was it like 4 or 5 years ago?
Now, yeah, she's graduated
seriously.
2015, so she's out of college age, yeah.
She was a tough player. Coleman to the basket.
She was great. It was a funny story. She came in freshman year, and we had Rachel Camara as our starting point guard. So, and if Rachel ever got a foul trouble, Brianna would do it. As a sophomore,
a bit of a collision, but Hilltopper's going to get it back.
We had a scrimmage, and there was a couple players vying for that one spot, and I'll never forget my father told me after one of the scrimmages, he goes, listen, he goes, I'm not telling you what to do. It's your team. He goes, well, you don't play that kid, you're stupid. And she was 3-year starter.
Yeah. No, she was. She was a great hilltopper for you. And you know, so and that's one of those perfect examples of no, you don't have to be 6'8" to play this game.
No, not at all.
You know, and in a way, that's what Holly kind of made me think of her immediately last year when he had his freshman season because it's so fast. You know, he and Lewis, so fast.
And he gets to the rim as good as I've seen at this level.
2 turnovers in a row for Holly, and he's not happy. He stays back.
And the dunk on the transition for Brockton.
Reed with the dunk. Holly was still talking, but you know, it's frustrating, yes, but you got to get back on those and defend them.
I've always believed in the high school game, those dunks sometimes act as more than the 2 points. Yes, it's only 2 points on the scoreboard, but the momentum and, you know, getting the crowd pumped up and teammates pumped up. I mean, we saw it with Tyree.
Oh my God, yeah.
Tyree's dunks sometimes felt like they were worth 10 points.
Yeah, Tyree was really, he was quite something when he was here.
So you got to get back because Brockton's got a lot of leapers and they could be running layup lines.
Well, Brockton can pick up their 4th foul of this first quarter with about 20 seconds left in it. Isaac Lane picking it up in the transition, so no shots, just on the floor, but still only 3 away from bonus. This is going to be like the 3rd steal in a row. Can he hold on to it? There's the jump ball. Waiting for the whistle as Martinez was on the ground.
Boxes are running a sprint trap right up to the middle. It's, what they're doing is the point guard's coming over half court to a certain point, and they're just sprinting 2 guys at him. If you break it, you have numbers, but you know they're getting what they're looking for out of that.
And there was a great block underneath there by Bento. 1-on-1 with Pereira, and on the other end of it, Alowu puts it in for 2, and Brockton will be ahead by 8 after the first 8 minutes of play. Not a terrible quarter. I got to tell you one thing is, you know, Brockton, they really spread out the scoring. 8 different players with points in that first quarter, and that's what you got to do, and that shows you the balanced team. But if you look at Durfee, all 5 starters, actually 5 players, Coleman being the only non-starter, 5 players with points for Durfee, so that's good too. They are spreading the ball around. Now it's a matter of, in this case, limiting the turnovers because there were quite a few of them there at the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, throughout the first quarter, the one thing I'm very impressed with Brockton was their ball movement.
Yeah.
You know, their 3, 4, 5 passes, they're passing up good shots for great shots, and you know the threes are always going to be there. And when you got leapers and bigs, you know, their second chance options are going to be there unless you box out. So I was impressed with Brockton's movement, but Durfee withstood that first punch, came out strong after that timeout, and you know, within striking distance here. 8-point game is nothing in high school basketball. So.
No, and you know, 17 points is a pretty good quarter, especially going up against, you know, Brockton just put 25 up, but 17, anytime you're close to 20, that's not bad. It's a good start.
Yeah. Ultimately, you know, the goal is to put the ball in the basket and get the points on the board. So, you know, Durfee didn't have, you know, a ton of problem generating offense, and you know, at that point it's about making shots. So, good first quarter.
5 points for Lewis before he came out, leading the way for Durfee. Holly with 4. 6 for Reed for Brockton. He's leading the charge, number 33.
Right now, Durfee's got Holly and Hall on the bench. They're 2 main scorers, so it'll be interesting to see where they generate some offense right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's got coach put Nowicki in. Oh, and number 21.
Yeah, Nowicki, another sophomore.
Yeah, so he's in right now. DiCavallo's still on the bench as well, one of the 5 starters. Coleman came in for him earlier.
As our stat guy running stats, Holly's not in foul trouble, is he?
No, Holly has no fouls.
No fouls. So
the only 2 fouls on the board for Durfee are Lewis. They came back-to-back there in that first.
Coaches with players that play a lot of minutes, you try to extend, you know, the break at the quarter and then a minute into. A lot of coaches at all levels will try to do that. You know, Holly plays a ton of minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And he takes a beating, so this is probably just a little bit of a breather for him.
Pereira had the look there, but a little too soft off the fingers, and it didn't reach the basket. So, bit of a tough trip there. 3-pointer rather, excuse me. No good from Lane, and I think went out of bounds.
Being around Coach Bowen for many years on the boys' side and just throughout the basketball community, he lets his guys fire him up there. He lets them shoot it. And,
oh, yeah.
That's always been a staple of Brockton, but they rebound incredible, and they've always have.
No, that's one of the reasons, though, you're
seal-off.
right, is that as Bento put that in, up to 6 points for him. But that's one of the reasons why. If you fall behind Brockton, they can put you away really quickly because the outside shot can really be pretty spectacular. Oh, they're calling a jump ball.
That's the new trend in basketball, period. I mean, everything is three-point oriented. Everything is space and pace. And it sounds silly, but threes are worth more than two. So that's why, you know, a lot of teams at all levels, you see it from the youth all the way up. You know, Brockton, for teams around this area, I remember, you know, being on the boys' bench 08, 09, some very 2010 being some big-time battles here. You know, they shot a lot of three-pointers then, too.
I'll be honest, I asked Jameson one year, a couple years ago, actually. It might have been maybe Nick Salmon, Chris Farrington that year. I asked him, I said, Jameson, I said, I'm ask you a tough question here. I said, I won't use it. I said, I'm just curious. I said, why so many threes? I said, and I referenced the previous game because it was the game prior, came out of the half. I think they were down by, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8, and they went on like a 10-0 run, and all they did was full court press. They were passing the ball down the court, layups, driving the lane, getting fouls, this and that. And then, so they went on that 10-0 run, and then shooting threes again. They're throwing bricks. They're throwing nothing but bricks. They hadn't hit anything all night. And so I asked him, I said, look, I'm looking at that last game. I said, why so many threes? I said, we all saw what was working. I said, that run was incredible. I said, you can't go like that for 32 minutes. I get it. But, you know, something different. Why would they keep throwing threes up there? They're not going down. And he says, well, exactly what you just said. The quote, I think the quote was, well, threes are sexy and twos are not. Or something like that. But, like, I understand the reasoning. I get that. And, yeah, threes are worth more than two. But if they're not going down, you're just wasting trips on the offensive side. You know, and that's why I wish, and that's one thing I like about Holly is he's not afraid to go right to the basket. He's also not afraid to pass it to somebody. And, you know, once in a while I'll take that outside shot. So I look at him and I say, someone who's only a sophomore in his second season here, I like the way he plays because it's not just one thing from him. You know, the defense, he's given the defense things to think about.
He scores the ball as good as I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but, you know, you got to think he would have a legitimate shot at potentially being a 1,000-point scorer.
I wouldn't say that
he's putting up a lot of numbers here, and we haven't had a male 1,000-point scorer since Jamal Johnson in 2005. So it's been we're going on 15 years.
You had
now.
A couple girls, right? Didn't you have a couple?
Yeah. Since 2005, it's all been girls.
Yeah, exactly.
So there hasn't been one on the guys' side, and you know there hasn't been many guys that have played significant minutes on the varsity for 4 straight years too.
Yeah, that's
since
true.
the freshman year. So you know he does a great job of getting into the lane and finishing. His first step is tremendous, and he defends well too, and he plays hard.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I wouldn't say that's out of the question. Both shots missing there from Nichols, but you're right. I wouldn't say that's a far reach because I mean last year he had quite a few 30-point games. I mean he can put numbers up quick. I'd be interested to know after this season where he's at.
Well, a bunch of things can happen and stuff like that, and styles of play can switch, and you know he may be asked to do something different next year. You know as far as a ball handle or whatever, but. You know, reading a lot of the articles and stuff, he's putting the ball in the basket a lot this year. Ball to the basket hard.
Yeah, fouled after a great block again from Coleman. Holly over at the bench talking to coach because he had another bad pass. That's one thing we haven't seen a lot of. He's had a lot of good passes, but I'm thinking too, Brockton's so big, the wingspan of some of these guys too, they're actually reaching out and they're just basically stopping the ball in its tracks. So I wouldn't say they're necessarily bad passes. I think it's, again, a defensive overmatch.
I used to have a saying with my girls, we used to call them lofty passes.
Yeah.
Anything that was up in the air was going to get stolen. And Brockton's just looking for anything up in the air to steal it. You know, it's got to be straight line passes against these guys because they'll just jump, they'll trap, they'll tip, and it'll be running. So, you know, these passes have to be, you know, straight line passes.
Right. Well, 1 for 2 at the line was Hall, but the rebound, Coleman took care of it. Now Hall wants the 3. It's going to be wide to the right. The foul there was on Robinson, his first. So A 9-point game could be 12. It's going to be short. The rebound taken by Xavier, excuse me, and then put back by Nichols.
Hilltop is not boxing out in the zone. It's shot, and everybody's running below the blue volleyball line, and the rebounds bounce further out from that line. So it's tough. That's one of the problems with the zone.
Well, Holly was airborne about 5 feet off the ground. Lucky he didn't come landing. I saw that arm dangling. I said, oh my gosh, he's going to go down on his arm.
His athleticism saved him. He was able to actually have a easy land. Yeah,
he got lucky there. The foul was on Xavier. Holly will go to the line for the first time tonight, just 2 points. So a slow start offensively for Holly, and the first one misses. 7 fouls, though, for Brockton. So with halfway through the second quarter here, Durfee's going to go to the line from this point forward.
They got to make their free throws. That's one thing they haven't done super well this year, is make their free throws. And especially with all their guards that get to the rim, they're going to get to the line often. You got to make them.
1 for 2 is Holly.
Does the second time.
And for Durfee, they are 5 for 7 on the night, so not bad.
5 for 7 on the free throw. That's the running stats that I can never do.
That's why I'm here. Bento puts it up, 8 points for him. It's his total start to climb. Brockton already up over 30 points. But, you know, for halfway through a quarter, they haven't lit it up in this second quarter, not like the first. They've only put up 6 points. Problem is Durfee hasn't hit one from the field, and we're halfway through it. 4 minutes gone, 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. They only have 2 free throws made, and now a block by Robinson, taking it to the basket. Nice little flashy play right there for Robinson.
That's the Euro step. That's another one of those very in moves right there. Gets to the rim, finishes on the other side very well.
Lewis can't put it up. Highly contested shot. Go back the other way. Brockton, the finish
was done on purpose as well too. That was not a missed layup.
No, it wasn't.
That was
so Reed with the finish and a 16-point lead for the Boxers. And a timeout for Coach Cruz.
Yeah, this is where Brockton, you know, their defense right here. It's almost like they're waiting, and you know, they've seen the opportunity to go out there, and they sprint down the floor well. They run their lanes very well, and when they're unselfish, things like that happen.
Yeah, and I really think the size difference between Durfee and Brockton is really what's causing the problems here.
Yeah,
you can't extend your arms over, you know, the defender's hands or the defender's heads. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to drive the lane and try to put it up off the glass.
They're also not doing anything fancy defensively. They're just playing man-to-man. Their guards are pressuring the ball very well, and they've, you know, their bigs are just packing it in there. So the first guy is getting beat. There's some bigs with long arms up there, and, you know, you force some wacky shots and rebound and go.
Brockton out of the timeout rather quickly. I'm sure Coach Bowen doesn't have too much to say, knowing the lead the way it is already.
Coach Bowen at times a man of few words.
Yeah.
One of the best in the business. He was a guy I respect immensely.
And he's been coaching for so long.
Yeah, 2007. 2007, I believe he took over for Vic Ortiz, who they just named the court after last week. Brockton played in front of, talk about old school crowds. The crowd at Brockton's gym last Friday against Cambridge was, if you went in a time warp, you would have thought you were in 1988 or 1994. Yeah, it was quite a sight to see.
Durfee going to catch a break here because Nowicki with a bad pass, but it led, I think it was number 13 there, Robinson, let him out of bounds, so Durfee going to get it back. It was close to another turnover. They'll hand it to Holly.
Maybe Owen will watch this broadcast and know that I want him out for volleyball.
There you go, Owen. Your official recruitment pitch here, coming from your hopefully future coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
he's a kid. We could get him hitting real well. We could have him dunking by September if he gets on our volleyball program.
There you go. Holly back to the line. How you guys feel? Because I know you lost some big pieces to graduation last year. So you see this as a little bit of a rebuild year, or do you feel confident?
You know how I am going into every season. So
I know you get nervous. So I know you get a little nervous.
But I mean, Danny and Nillen.
Yeah.
That was it. you know, we get Nelson back. Well, we lost Marcelo Cardoza moved.
That's right. Yeah.
But Andrew Saunders on pace for 1,000 assists.
Yeah, see, that's big. At least you get someone to stabilize a little bit. Because, I mean, Danny and Nillen were big presence up front.
Yep, but, you know, Nelson as a hitter and, you know, our passing and ball control, Nate Kucha, John Karam, Thomas Michael, those guys have played for 4 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, the ball control part is, you know, in paper, we should be pretty good with that. They've done it for 4 years.
Yeah.
Varsity guys for 4 years, tournament guys for 4 years. You know, hopefully we get some guys out to hit. You know, we do have some returners, Lane Levesque, you know, Zach Massa. So, you know, we got athletes that have played before. So, you know, one game at a time. Everybody kind of starts off that, you know, that first week on the same, and it's going to be a shot clock violation.
Yeah, well, you know, Durfee's lucky because the shot clock didn't run for about 2 seconds. Or, you know, so Brockton basically got a couple extra seconds out of it.
It's weird. That usually never happens.
Rarely. So, yeah, shot clock rarely for Brockton, I'll tell you that. I mean, that was a good defensive sequence for Durfee right there. Oh, that one jarred away. Did you see the punch from Reed? Just like basically almost like a football move. Came in and punched the ball right out of Ollie's hands there, but then a travel call the other direction. So another turnover that Durfee kind of gets a little lucky with. Doesn't end up costing them any points.
That was a back tap for, potentially for a dunk. Reed already has one.
Another once again.
Those are the back taps.
Wow, Biddle to the basket, Lane, foul. Basket counts. Second time.
Those back taps, some coaches or some philosophies are it's bad defense or it's lazy defense. Other philosophies, you're doing exactly what
you're going for the ball.
You're trying to get.
I see it as you're going for the ball. What's wrong with that?
And if there's recovery, you just get back, and that's exactly what they're looking to do. Get the ball out on the floor and go.
Well, Lane had a basket and one back in the first. Now he's got one here in the second for 6 points total. 38-21.
A little full court pressure by the boxers. Make the Hilltoppers think, bringing it up. And just solid man-to-man.
Oh, there's a foul. Yep, Hall I think is going to get called on that.
His feet were moving.
So 5 fouls now for Durfee. Paul's second. Both came in this quarter. And that'll turn the ball over to Brockton.
Durfee in a more traditional 2-3. They don't play a ton of man-to-man, although there's some matchup problems today, but.
Yeah, but the Brockton shooters are getting a lot of space. Another travel, that one. Quick call on Lane.
With Holly on the bench, you can see Brockton's, they've moved their defense up a little bit. They're going to try and gamble a little bit more in the backcourt. Making Coleman bring the ball up. Obviously not a traditional ball handler.
DiCarvalho put it up.
Got away with the travel, I think.
No basket. Corner three. No good. Oh, trying to get some help there. Bento tried to get there, could not. Lewis.
Absolutely.
Offensive.
It's his third foul, too.
Yep.
Brockton doing a great job getting back defensively. These are the tough situations right here with a minute 40. It's kind of closeout time. The Hilltoppers within striking distance, you know, in a high school game, but in a minute 40 now, minute 30, they can, Brockton can blow this wide open.
This could make it a 20-point game, and it will. Blakely from downtown.
But they're going to have to protect the ball going into the halftime.
Yeah, 20 points is a rather large deficit. And it's interesting to know, and this is the problem here. We've got 65 seconds left in this half. Durfee does not have one basket from the field. Will this be the first one, finally? So Coleman puts it up. But the 4 points Durfee had in this quarter for the first 7 minutes of the quarter were all at the line. That's a problem. That's not going to win you games. And that's, you know, the smothering defense of Brockton. Another three, wide to the right.
Trying to jump with them again. 18 points, 20 points is a big deficit. There's a saying, though, 30 is the new 20, but 20 is not.
not where you want to be.
Not where we
though.
want to be.
No. Second foul for Bento. It's going to be Brockton's 9th foul. It was on the floor, so no shots. He's down in the offensive zone.
Hilltop is not running a press breaker right now. It's going to be tough getting the ball in.
Martinez weaving through traffic. Now you got a 2-on-1 with the big guy underneath, and it does
Good
go.
job by-
That ended up working out pretty well for Durfee. Well set.
Good job by Will Nieves with the dump off and a good finish. 16 now.
Yeah, Will Nieves Martinez getting some playing time here. Some minutes late in the half. Number 10.
Hilltop is going to get another stop and a score. Make this a little bit more manageable than 20. There's the stop potentially. Nope.
Skipped right through Hall's legs there. Another 3-ball corner, no good. 10 seconds.
Here's our stop.
3-on-2, 4-on-2. Can Durfee get a basket here? Coleman, kind of lazy flip up. He's got 2 seconds. Going to take a shot. Nowicki fading away. Hits it. How about that? So Nowicki in the book. 14-point. They were down by 20. They go on a 6-0 run to end the quarter. That's not bad. That helps you out a little bit.
We'll talk about closing out the quarters. Durfee did a better job of closing out their part of the quarter than Brockton did. They got a couple stops, and just like they drew it up on that last play for a jumper in the corner.
Yeah, so that's a lot better than where they were. 14 is still not great. But, considering they hadn't had anything for the field and they hit 3 in the final 60 seconds, maybe that's a little momentum booster for the Hilltoppers. All right, Brendan and I are going to step aside here during halftime. We'll be back on the other side with the third quarter on Fred TV. Stick around.
Damaris, check. Rosalie.
It's critical that your child is in school every day. Our teachers care about your children. I care about your children. Equally, we know that you care about your children. We know that when students are in school, it opens the door to college and career in ways unmeasurable. Look, I know sometimes it's hard to get to school, but you gotta be here every day. As a parent, if you need help, we wanna help you. These guys are the best. Our teachers do an amazing job building relationships. Look at the work that they produce. School is fun, school is cool. We need you here every single day. Gotta be here every day.
Welcome back, everybody, inside the Luke Urban Fieldhouse at Durfee High School. Evan Massoud with Brendan Kelly on Fred TV. More Friday night hoops here in Fall River. A tough one so far for Durfee. They're down 41-27 to the Brockton Boxers, #1 team in the conference and one of the top teams in the state. However, despite a very tough second quarter for Durfee, they did show some signs of life, Brendan, as we said before halftime, and were able to go on a 6-0 run to cut it back. It was a 20-point deficit, but now down to 14. I think they got to come out really strong, put a couple baskets in early here. Brockton not given much room. That might be good. Oh, in and out it goes. Going to get another shot? No. DiCarvalho did get the rebound, so fresh 30. They'll go to Pereira, big guy up front.
Travel.
That's going to be a travel. Yep, tough turnover there. So Durfee comes up empty on their first trip.
Jay Hall not starting the second half for the Hilltoppers. Actually was late getting out of the locker room. I don't know if that fall towards the end of the second quarter.
Right.
Injury lingering. So Will Nieves starting in his place. They go with 3 ball handlers, which not a bad strategy considering their pressure.
Long 3 ends up being short for Robinson.
The box out.
Had he been right at the line, probably would have hit it because it hit off the front of the rim. Went for the college range 3, didn't pan out, but Durfee going to get tagged with a foul here. Be their first. 4th foul for Lewis. That's going to be troublesome.
Yeah, he's going to have.
Yep.
He's going to have to go to the bench for a little while.
Yeah, it's a bummer for him, but you're going to have Coleman checking in now after Robinson's first shot missed.
Lewis losing him for probably an extended period of time in the third quarter. He's a ball handler. He's probably his second best scorer, and he plays very hard. So somebody else is going to have to step up in all 3 of those categories.
To be honest with you, unless this gets very close,
In the continuation, yes.
I wouldn't expect to see Lewis to the 4th quarter unless this gets wicked close. Basket's going to count for Coleman. He's been pretty decent off the bench, you know, now 6 points, looking at possibly 7 here. And that's the kind of contributions you want from somebody who, you know, wasn't your starter.
He's an energy guy.
Yeah.
He does a lot of the hard work things. I've always loved players like that, rebound really well, pick up loose balls, finish strong around the basket, and Coleman does all of those.
The and one, no good, so he'll stay with 6 points. Driving to the basket, no good. Look at the height from Nichols, gets the rebound, but
Head's going to be up.
yeah. Passing to Holly. Holly with the basket. And just like that, an 11-point game. Durfee chipping away a little bit. 4-1 outscoring Brockton here in this third quarter early, the first 90 seconds of it.
Brockton has taken a lot. They haven't made a lot. They haven't shot particularly well. They're just getting good second opportunities.
2-on-1 here. Holly gonna drive it. Oh, what a block! And that's what some big-time height will do for you. Navon Reed with the denial.
That's a great take by Holly. I mean, getting to the rim, big guy, big jumper. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Old saying, Durfee's ball, right back.
And you know what? If Reed slips 1 inch left to right, it's 2 shots. So that's the benefit of driving the lane and not just necessarily throwing up bricks like we were talking about earlier. If you can find that lane, that's a tough pass. They were going for Holly, but there was really no opening there. Block on the other end for Coleman.
Kept it in bounds as well.
Anything you can do, I can do better, says Elijah Coleman. Great feed
pass
to DiCarvalho. There was a little contact there, but not enough, I guess, to warrant a whistle.
He got away with a travel as well.
3 ball. That looks good. It is good from Reed.
Key to 3.
Reed up to 11 points. First player into double digits tonight. The scoring's really been very spread out for both teams.
Oh,
that's a late
late
whistle.
He sold it well off the dump off.
Yeah, not happy at Blakely. Can't believe it.
He actually had me fooled on the dump off. It was a continuation going to the basket.
Right.
He dumped it off. It was a great pass.
Coach Bowen talking to one of the officials as well, probably asking and just questioning it. Pereira, oh, bad pass.
This is where you see not having Lewis as an extra ball handler.
Gonna be a foul. Biddle with the basket, and he'll go to the line. Second Durfee foul of the half, and it is the first for Holly.
Hilltop is going to have to get into their press breaker and trust their ball handlers getting it over as they're doubling.
And the official was just talking to Robinson, who was right around Holly. Now Coach Bowen calling him over, and they were close over here at center court. I don't know if there was a little bit of talking going on, but we'll keep an eye on that. The free throw no good for Biddle.
I like the SEC, another turnover in the backcourt. These are going to start leading to very, very fast layups.
Yeah, the ball protection not there for Durfee right now.
They're not organized in the backcourt right now.
No.
There's another double.
Blakely
frustrated, and I could see it. I would have thought it was a jump ball as well.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought they were going to call. So I'm surprised.
When you start, running and jumping like this, sometimes those touches are 50-50, and they're going right after the ball handler.
Passing it to Coleman. Out to Holly.
You can definitely see Brockton has stepped up their defensive intensity significantly.
Holly misses it.
To start the third.
Again, a lot of contact on DiCarvalho twice there, but didn't get a call. That first one definitely, I thought, could have been a foul. Big time 3 for Robinson, and it is now a 21-point game. So Durfee's little surge to start this quarter. Now Brockton is on a 10-0 run until right there with Holly's last basket. A 10-0 run for Brockton in the midst of it. That's a tough thing to defend and try to crawl back from.
Looks like Hall is about to check back in the game, so it doesn't look like anything too serious injury-wise.
Right.
Hall coming off an incredible football season. Good athlete. I've been watching him since he was in the 6th grade. His sister played for me. Good athletic family.
And we talk about Talk about milestones, 1,000 rushing yards. He's a sophomore. I mean, we're looking at, possibly the next Eli Brooks. He might even overtake Brooks, who had 2,023 yards when it was all said and done.
Well, that was just the senior season, so Eli probably was the 3-year varsity player. So Eli's probably close to the 3,500.
True, yeah.
And I think 4,000. We're talking into Jordan Todman territory, but Eli's.
No,
I know
that was absolutely incredible. He really had a great career. I mean, that's ridiculous. 2,000 yards in a season. But Hall had 1,000 in a season this year, so really impressive stuff. 1 for 2 at the line. The foul was on Martinez.
Here's these lofty passes that we used to call on the girls' side. They're up in the air. Brockton just waiting to tip one. They even got one guy. Here it comes. They're looking to get a dunk.
Doesn't pan out. Out to Holly. Going to take the 3. Knocks it down.
We've talked that he can get to the rim almost at will. He finishes well amongst the bigs. If he can develop a consistent three-point shot, he's going to be very dangerous with that. And the good news for that is only a sophomore. There's plenty of time with all these opportunities for kids to get in the gym and shoot. The workouts have almost become cool now in basketball.
Right.
So, which is a good thing.
Well, 5th foul for Durfee. It's going to be DiCarvalho's first foul. 2 shots here for Nichols. The first one, no good.
Typical of Brockton, they're just coming in waves right now. 4 subs. They're just going to bring another unit in. They're really going to try and turn up the volume defensively.
Oh, yeah. And again, they got the lead to work with. So that's always a plus.
And when you have the lead, you can do some extra gambling in the backcourt where you can, look to get their stuff at the rim.
2 shots missed, but the rebound ends up going to Lane in the end, and he puts it in for 2.
Second chance opportunities. Brockton's really, really turned up the defensive pressure. They're scrambling all over the place. 2 to the ball.
Martinez in and out. Hall comes breaking in, and that's good. That'll help. 2 points for him. He's got 7 on the night. Holly with that 3-ball surpassed double digits, so he's up to 12 points tonight. His best quarter so far. We were talking right before we came back here, so I don't know how many of the viewers know, but I do some games for UMass Dartmouth as well now on the side, couple per season, and we had a doubleheader of basketball Wednesday night, women and then men against Rhode Island College. So, the biggest story for women was that 2 of your former players, and you just told me you were there. 2 of your former players squared off against each other. Shaylin Carrero, 1,000-point scorer for you, playing for the Corsairs, and Jordan Gauvin for Rhode Island College, a senior, also played for you. And they were squaring off against each other. It's really a big-time game for UMass. So they came back. They were trailing by 7 at the half. They ended up winning by 10 after a 29-point third quarter. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Jordan's a senior. And they believe they were 16-3, 17-3 going in, or is what they're at right now.
16-2. Now they're 16-3. They were
an
really
incredible year. UMass has been probably the premier D3 college program in New England the last 4 to 5 years. Matt Duchan's done an unbelievable job. Shaylin's a sophomore, so the last 2 years, that's become one of my favorite games to go see.
Yeah.
I get to sit there. I sit right in the middle and cheer for both teams, and it was a real nice win. I know Rhode Island College won the earlier meeting in December, and UMass dealing with some injuries.
It's a big-time win for the Corsairs.
Yeah, it's a great win. The Little East, I have such respect for the Little East and the MASCAC in basketball on both the men's and the women's side. It's going to be very interesting. UMass is playing real well. Econ's defending champion. Rick has been the front runner all year, and then UMass Boston.
Big-time 3 as Xavier got open. 60-38 the score. 2 minutes to play here in the third. And we're going to have a foul. Should be the 5th for Brockton. It is number 22, Isaac Lane, his 2nd. Now, after the women, did you stick around for men, or did you leave?
It's been great that I've, just like my father did for me, I've been getting a chance to bring my son to a lot of games in the wintertime. But his attention span can usually only take one. So, and those 20-minute layup lines, Miss Dunk,
and that'll wake up the crowd for Durfee. Holly puts it in, falling away, and everybody wants a foul. I'm not sure. There was definitely contact. I mean, no doubt. We get basically pushed down in the air.
He makes that the norm going to the basket. That was
fantastic
from a crowd standpoint. But he's been doing that all year.
Oh,
That's just another finish for him.
That was big time. So anyway, well, you didn't stay for the men.
Jake Ashworth, though.
Jake Ashworth for the Corsairs. I got to see a 1,000-point score for the men. So the women with the big comeback, and then Ashworth needed 17. He put up 19 in the first half.
Great finish by Coleman, using his body on the other side of the rim.
Yeah, that's a big shot there for Coleman. So yeah, it was a fun night. But I know, for you, Shaylin, Jordan, and Brianna, when those three were together, I mean, you guys had, really good seasons.
Jalen Jackson was on.
Jalen Jackson too. You guys had a couple of really.
Isabel McDonald, Nicole Emsley.
Yeah, you guys went through it. You guys went through a stretch there. You rattled off some really good seasons in a row.
A lot of fun.
Really for me, one of the most memorable. Another travel. One of the most memorable for me was the, and I'm sure for you, was the Quincy game in round 1. When there were 3 feet of snow out in Boston, they're hauling snow off the on-ramps into dump trucks on our way there. And
2015.
Right, yeah. That was like the crazy winter with all the snow. And, and you guys were down, and then Brianna just went off in that second half, and you guys came back to stun it. And I wasn't around. I know you still hold me responsible. I wasn't around for the Mansfield game.
I hold you responsible for the Newton South game, too.
Oh, that's
2013.
Right. Oh, man.
Spring training, right?
My usual March vacation.
Well, the Red Sox won the World Series that year, so I guess it's all right. Much would have had you here for that.
I know. Well, it is. My grandparents tend to snowbird for a month. And I always have to work February vacation, so so I end up building up some comp time because the games during there, and I don't have sports in March, so typically try to get away for a couple days, Anyhow.
But yeah, it's great to see them. I'd love to see them match up a third time, and it's fun. That's one of the best, if not the best part of coaching, is seeing them, go on playing in college. And a lot of those girls now have graduated college. Brianna's an assistant coach at Mitchell College.
That's awesome.
Fully has dove into the coaching lifestyle and has done a great job with that. And it's fun. You just get to be honest with you, sometimes in those games when they get tight, I get more nervous watching them from the stands than I did, when I was coaching them.
Yeah.
Shot.
2 seconds, going to take the fadeaway jumper. It's good for 3.
That's that new wave of everybody can shoot 3-pointers. There's 6-7 out to the 3-pointer, and
Seriously.
That didn't look like a desperation either.
No. 14 points for Holly in the game. He had 9 in this third quarter, his best output, but Brockton really went on a tear here in this third quarter. We'll just tally it up for you real quick.
Well, they showed off their depth when literally at the 4-minute mark, they brought 4 in, and there's not any inkling of a drop-off. These teams, at this point of the season, the good teams,
oh yeah,
it's almost starterless. It's just whoever he decides to start the game with, and then the second unit. And good teams are like that. You know, they don't care who starts. They're going out there. And what I've seen here is they've shared the ball and they're trying to get everybody involved. And that's a team that's built for March basketball.
26 points in the third quarter for Brockton. Came in with 41, now with 67 now. For Durfee, not terrible, 17 points, just like the first. But they're just, you know, really a tick behind right now. Brockton showing why they are the class of D1 South right now.
And the SEC, which I'm actually very proud of. We had a prop bet going on before the game, how many times I would mess up and call this a Big Three contest. I haven't.
No, you haven't.
So,
and I said, actually, I don't think I've messed up once with that all season long.
It'll take it some getting used to back on the sideline in volleyball season, calling it the, you know, so many years. Calling it the Big Three in reference to Big Three, SEC. But great opportunity for us being in that conference. And, you know,
I think so.
We've played Dartmouth and Bridgewater Raynham. On the volleyball side, they don't have it, so it'll seem similar once the boys. But I think overall,
we play them in almost every sport.
And have for forever. So it's a natural marriage. So it's a great opportunity.
Now, and I remember hearing, I forget who mentioned it, I think it was when the old Colony League was still going, I forget. But is it true that when you get 5 teams in a conference, you go over 3, that the top 2 teams qualify?
Yes. So there's always been, you know, we have it in the SEC for volleyball.
Yeah.
And, you know, the old EAC with Bishop Connolly and Attleboro, and I feel like I'm missing somebody else in the old EAC. But, yeah, there was second place is an automatic bid as well.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, yeah, does give you a little wiggle room in the conference. Not a ton, but you know you got to be near the top.
Yeah, that Big Three crutch. You know, I know many people around the state are kind of frowned upon that being a 3-team conference and an automatic bid for the top, and you know,
I mean,
all
let's
that goes
face it,
with it. But
there were some teams that, you know, won their share of conference games when it was the Big Three, and had very bad records overall, but they made it into the tournament.
Yep.
And meanwhile, you got a team that, you know, in a tough conference is 12 and 8 or something, you know, or whatever.
Or on the other end, a 9 and 11 that played a very tough.
Well, there you go.
And is not in.
Right, and that I can understand where there may be some teams that feel there's some kind of, you know, injustice there. I get it.
But when you think about it, you know, historically,
nobody wanted to play
the
us.
exception of the Big Three in 1991. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a reason behind it.
Yeah.
And
it's different now.
When you look at historical aspects of it, across the board, athletically, it made sense back then. The historical, it's incredible, and you know, it'd be a big part of the Big Three. And you know, once you're done with your playing days, you walk into these gyms in New Bedford and Brockton, and it's all love on all ends. But this is ball up straight up in the air.
And let's not forget, too, that
it was time.
Yeah, but let's not forget that as Curry puts that in, and I'll make this point in a moment, but I want to tell you that you talk about depth. Brockton with 10 different players scoring points tonight, so there's the depth that we're talking about. But, you know, let's not forget these teams, New Bedford, Brockton, they love beating Durfee now. Because years ago, you know, the days of Skip Karam and stuff, no one could beat Durfee. The number of championships on that wall, it's just incredible.
I'll tell a quick story. I was telling Jameson Guimond. I belong to it's called newspapers.com, and it's got all these great articles for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And you can look up really cool
archives
old
and stuff.
Archives, yeah,
Nice.
it's online, and it's primarily the Boston Globe, but you can look at really cool old Durfee, New Bedford, Brockton articles from whatever, and 1, 2, 3 in the state forever. And you know, you look at them and they'd only have 2 or 3 losses, and you know they were only to each other. And, you know,
sure.
And, you know, especially in the 80s with all, I mean, they met in the playoffs deep, the 90s deep in the playoffs. So yeah, and then that bred the Big Three, and here we are.
Now, I mean, I'm looking at there's 4 banners for league championships for basketball, and you can fit 10 dates on each banner. So let that just give you an indication how many, you know. I mean, that's really amazing. And then that not even just, you know, we're not even just talking state championships. That's just the conference. So many state championship banners, the black banners off to the right of your screen. I mean, that's why the Big Three was around. It's for that reason. And Brockton and New Bedford were right there.
And it wasn't just basketball.
No, not all. Look at baseball. How many league championships for baseball? They got up. They're up to 2 banners. You know, we're looking at girls volleyball has had quite a few there as well. I mean, it really soccer. I mean, this just it's a lot of accolades on that wall. Pereira's third foul, the 9th for Durfee. And at the line is Curry again. Second trip in a row for him. He missed.
Do we have who's up next for the Boxers?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's Newton North because they play on Super Bowl Sunday.
They're
every
playing
year.
on Sunday.
Sunday.
Okay,
Is this one in Brockton or Newton North?
For Durfee, they're playing
tomorrow, Snowden.
Yeah, so today being Friday, playing Saturday at Snowden. That game will already be done by the time you see this one.
What time is that game?
That game is at 5.
Yep.
And then Monday, back home here as well for Bishop Stang. And then an away game at Dartmouth. So 4 games in 5 days for Durfee. That's really tough. We'll see the Durfee boys next Friday. BR's coming to town, so we'll get to see Bridgewater Rainham next Friday right here at the Fieldhouse. Another 3-ball is no good. That one.
Doug Alves does a great job at Bridgewater Rainham. They're always well prepared and play hard. And who's Brockton after Newton North? Newton North. That's always that's one of those legendary showdowns.
Right. So that's at 2 o'clock on Sunday for Brockton, and then on Tuesday they're going to New Bedford, and then on Friday they host Dartmouth. So more conference action for Brockton as well.
That Super Bowl Sunday game. When I was on the boys' staff years ago, that was a game I was sent to quite often to go
travel
to go see and scout, or sometimes just go watch. Coleman must be up to double figures right now. It's probably his 10th point.
Coleman, yep, that was his 10th. And this is his 3rd basket plus a foul shot. So unfortunately for him, he hasn't made his first 2 chances at it. So
does a nice job around the rim. He's not as big as these Brockton guys, but he's kind of falls under that old school Durfee category of undersized center who really just outworks you.
That one he hits. 11 points for Coleman off the bench. He did not start this game. 2nd highest point total for the Hilltoppers tonight. Holly, actually the game high scorer right now because Brockton has spread out the scoring so much that.
How many guys is Brockton having double figures?
Only 2.
Yeah.
You got 3 guys right on the bubble though. Lane with 8, Biddle and Robinson each with 9, and even Blakely with 7. So, you know, they're right on the bubble in terms of the double digits, but they've just spread it out so much. You have 10 guys scoring points, that's a good night. How about that spin move? Oh, it doesn't go. Nowicki keeps it in, nice job, and Holly will get the feed. See, Brockton's kind of backed off a little bit. You know, not as, and now that one mishandled.
Their pressure's not as nearly as intense as it was in the 3rd quarter.
No, and it doesn't need to be. That's the whole thing. It really doesn't need to be. Not right now. 3:31 to play in the game. Yeah, next 2 weeks actually rather busy because you know, leading up to February vacation. Can't believe that's 2 weeks away. That's amazing. It really is amazing. Holly wants a 3. That's no good. Off the rim, but Durfee will get the rebound. Lewis back in there with the 4 fouls, trying to bank it off the glass. No good, and now Brockton with it. And we got Diamond boys hosting Conley on Monday. How about this long 3? Oh, in and out. So I got Matt Kurt actually joining me on Monday. Former Conley player and coach, and he coached here with Jamison for a season.
Matt, good friend of mine growing up in the basketball world.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Referee himself.
I know, now he's reffing some, I think, college now. At least that's what Jameson told me. He's reffing, I think, women's basketball for college.
Him and Steve Mata have flown up the ranks in the refereeing aspect of basketball and do a ton of games. So
Yeah. Last time I saw Matt actually was the last game that we did last winter. It was Diamond Boys' second round game out in Blue Hills.
Okay.
And in walked Matt for the tournament game. I said, "Hey, stranger, how you doing?"
I actually
So-
saw that game. You know, with the winter off, you have an opportunity. Like I said, I like to try to take my son, and when my daughter's old enough, probably next year, it was many games.
Sure.
Get him in the gym. I actually on Martin Luther King Day, Diamond and Conley played an afternoon game, and over at Bishop Conley, and I popped. I was impressed with both teams.
Diamond.
I know Conley's having a exceptional year, and I know Diamond from a record standpoint now, but Diamond's got some good players. They're a lot bigger than you think, and they finish well around the basket. I was impressed.
No, I know, and for Diamond, it's so tough. I mean, we've seen it here with some teams before. A winless season is really, it makes for a long season, and the Durfee girls are dealing with that right now. Unfortunately, really banged up. Coach Smith telling us on Monday that half the team's out with season-ending injuries, and they've been out for a couple weeks even, and we're only in January, so it's been a real tough go of it for the Durfee Hilltoppers, the ladies, but.
Tommy Librera is a great guy, great coach. I know he's been in their system for a long time, so he'll have them back up and running in no time. Like I said, they're a lot bigger than you think,
right?
And they finished around. What the final score was in the Conley game wasn't indicative of the game. It was close. So.
You forgive my ignorance. Nick Santos not coaching this year?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Honestly, we haven't been over there yet.
Tommy Librera, who's been on Nick's staff, I believe, for a while. Nick, good friend of mine, went to high school together. He's got 2 young girls that are involved in a million things. The way it goes.
It's like you. It's like Jameson. Jeff Caron. He's got his daughter now playing freshman ball here at Durfee. So I get it. All you guys who coach for so long taking your breaks now.
And it's,
I get it. Yeah.
In the dad world, and
right.
Everybody that's has done it says these years go by fast, and you want to have those opportunities. And it's been cool bringing my son to games, and every game he gets a little, watches it for a little bit longer, and loves playing on the bleachers and stuff. But Tommy Librera, Florida guy, worked at Diamond.
So that's going to be challenging. That's going to be challenging though too, because for him, whether he's been in the system or not, the guys got to get used to his coaching style too. So that's always like Coach DeCruz here. Being the new
guys, not as easy as it used to be, especially with relationship building now. And, the players being comfortable. So
right. And I know, again, Coach DeCruz, these players know him. He coached freshman ball. So it's not like he's totally new to Durfee, but his style's going to be different than Jameson's. You're not going to see the same thing, and so obviously this an adjustment period, I'm sure, for Diamond as well with that respect. But, no, I mean, we're looking forward to that one. It's always fun going to Diamond, and, unfortunately, we were supposed to already be over there once, but I think that was the week that I was out sick with the flu or whatever. Yeah. That second week of January, that first full week back, like this week of the 7th, I was out for like 4 days. It was not. Was not fun.
It's always one of the toughest weeks of the year.
Yeah, it really just was. Yeah, very.
Because the holiday season is almost like you hit Halloween, and it's almost a 2-month now holiday season, and you've been 2 months of.
I don't know what happened. Nobody around me was sick. I just I woke up Tuesday morning and I was like achy and everything. I said, "Oh, this is not good." So I came in for about an hour. I said to Renee, I'm done. I'm taking a sick day. I got home. I took my temperature. I was up to over 100. I'm like, you kidding me? I'm like, what is going on? Lewis puts it down for 3. And for the record, I'm not somebody that gets a high fever. Like 99.2, and I'm like wiped out. So to be over 100, I'm like, this is not good. So
I think for some rest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the week. So we should have already seen Diamond, but a little bit of a delay. We'll get there. Same with the girls. We'll be seeing them shortly too. But we always put whenever Conley, of course, is playing Durfee or Diamond, always get those games on the schedule because it's
Conley.
It's fun. It's a home
Durfee,
game.
Durfee's last regular season matchup.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they'll be hosting. Because Conley's already been here.
Lane violation.
Yeah, no shot. 5 fouls for Hall. Hall is out of the game. Lewis with the 4, but we're under a minute here, so. And at the line, it's Curry, who has missed all 4 of his free throws so far.
Free throw shooting hasn't been spectacular on either side tonight.
No, better for Durfee than Brockton, to be honest with you, but I think Brockton's had more chances. This is a busy book here. We got a lot of numbers going on here. Brockton free throws 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 by a quick count, but I think they've missed at least half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. They've missed over half their shots, below 50%.
Brockton has a shot. They're just
they're just
1-2
shooting,
pass.
they're shooting from the field. They don't need the free throws. Durfee 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Again, by my count, I'm just doing this real quick here so we don't miss anything on the court. But Durfee's they've hit more than they've missed. So they've missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Durfee, DiCavallo.
Nelly getting in the green book before the end.
Yeah. That's going to do it. Brockton hangs another 80-plus points on Durfee. Durfee, better performance than out there, 15 more total points. You know, again, something to build upon when you're considering that, you know, Brockton is probably going to go deep into the tournament this year. But nonetheless, a big loss, 85-59. The Boxers knock out the Hilltoppers, take the season series 2 games to none.
Yeah, as stated before early in the game, the process isn't easy, but it's rewarding if they stick to it. There's a lot of potential with this Hilltopper program, and you only get better by doing. And you only get better by playing these types of games and, you know, working towards what, you know, they want to be. And hopefully like Brockton soon.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, great to have you here. I'm glad that you finally got to do a basketball game. You know, you're always coaching, so this is your first time being able to get you to do some basketball. So
I had a blast.
Yeah. So we'll have to do it again, hopefully before the season is over.
Absolutely. As long as you guys will have me back, I'd love to do it. This was a lot of fun, so thank you.
All right. Folks, that's going to do it from the Fieldhouse on this Friday night. Brockton comes away with the win and the season sweep over Durfee. For our camera crew, our Fred TV kids tonight, Nathan Saucier, Cameron Norwood. For my broadcast partner, Brendan Kelly, I'm Evan Massoud saying so long from Durfee.